Hi guys, welcome back to my darkroom. Yesterday I went down the beach with my pinhole camera and a roll of Acros 100, and I spent a couple of hours down there really selecting my shots, trying to see, you know, what took my fancy. Some people must have looked at me and thought I was a proper weirdo, just looking at bits of rope and bits of wood on the floor and stuff and staring at it and trying to find the right angles. I only had 12 shots in the camera and my intention was not to waste any. I was hoping to come back with 12 negatives, all of which would make good prints. One of them when I came back and developed the roll of Acros in Kodak D76, I started looking at negatives, and one of them really did stand out to me. It had all the qualities in it, had loads of tonal range, and it was of a seascape, which was a 3-second exposure. I waited and waited and waited and waited for the right moment, and as soon as that the wash came in and just started to kiss the camera, I opened the shutter up for 3 seconds, let the camera do the rest. The wash went out and I managed to get this kind of semi-long exposure, but the negative really did stand out. And I've already started doing some test prints tonight, so that's why I thought I'd grab the video camera. I haven't got no microphone on, it's literally going to be a raw video, so there'll be loads of camera movement. I'm going to show you what I've been up to, and also show you me hopefully making a final print. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out yet because I haven't done a final print, but I've done some tests and they're all looking alright. A little bit of dodging and burning, a little bit of split tone grading going on, or split grading going on I should say, using a contrast 0 and a contrast 5 filter, and a little bit of selenium toning at the end. So let's get on with it. I'll show you the negatives and show you where I've been up to with the tests, and then we'll get on to making a final print. So these are the negs I've come back with, all 6 of them. The other 3 on the edge there, I can't fit them all on this homemade light box. But this is the one I'm working on. This is one with the wave came in. This is the first one I took. This was just tiles on a roof. I thought it was quite interesting. This was a swing. I've printed this one already. This is a swing in a kiddie's playground, and this was low down. This was sitting on the sand, on stones. Another one here of a wave breaker at the back. This is a beach hut with some rope tied around a railing. These are deck chairs that are packed away for the winter, and this is, I don't know what that is. This is more rope on wood, you know, and this one here with the rope, I spent ages trying to get the right angle on that, and there was a couple sitting just to the right having a cup of coffee. They must have thought I was a proper odd bod, but that was the angle I chose anyway. I was really surprised with the pinhole because it got everything in the background, even the sky. It's amazing with pinhole photography how close you can get, but still yet you get so much information in the background that's also in focus. So this is a negative that I'm working on, and you can see I've got tons of detail in the sky. The clouds are really good, and also really good detail in the sea, the wave that was coming in, the wash that was coming in and going back again. But the sand, this area is wet sand and it's dark, so even though the sun was coming from this side, I chose this side because the sun was over this side. It wasn't out, but it was quite light overcast, and you can see it's going to be dark because it's a thin part of the negative. You can see right through it. If I put my finger underneath, you'd see it. Not so much here, but I've just had to do a little tiny bit of dodging on this side, and also the sea area, and then a little bit of burning in on the sky. So I'll show you the test prints that I've done, and then hopefully we can make a final print. So I decided to split grade this print. I just knew that if I was going to print it with one filter, 2.5 or a 3 or something like that, I was just going to end up dodging and burning too much. So I went with my gut and decided to do a split grades, and I didn't even put any filters in when I started doing my test. I went straight into a contrast 0 filter. I thought if I can find the highlights where I want it to be, then I can build on the contrast with the number 5 filter. So this was my first test I did in increments of 3 seconds. I got 3, 6, 9, 12, blah blah blah, and I figured out that number 6 seconds, I should say, not number 6 seconds was giving me the best detail without starting to get dark. This was just starting to get too dark. The contrast 5 filter would have obliterated it. So I decided to go for 6 seconds. And this was my second test strip. I went 6 seconds with contrast 0 filter, and then I put the contrast 5 filter in for another 6 seconds, and I was getting the tones that I like here. I was getting nice tones here, and I thought, okay, I'm pretty cool with that. I'm okay with the 6 seconds. We can work on that, and then I can do a little tiny bit of dodging on this area and in the dark area of the sand as we go along. So being happy with that, I then put a piece of paper in there, and I did exactly the same thing again, just so I can see the whole image. So I did 6 seconds contrast 0, 6 seconds contrast 5, then pulled it out, fixed, washed, etc. And then I started to look at where I needed to go in on the print to make my final print. So this area was too dark, so I just decided to come initially I decided to come -4 seconds on the contrast 5 here, -2 seconds on the contrast 5 here, again -4 seconds on the contrast on the wood, and then just burn the sky in with the 0 filter for 3 seconds extra, so giving the sky 9 seconds on contrast 0. So quite a little bit of jiggery pokery going on. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I'm up to now. I'm going to put the negative carrier back in. I'll just give the negative a bit of rocket blowing because it's been sitting there while I was waffling away on the video. That should be good. And I'll start off with the contrast 0 filter. There it is here. Always handle these filters, by the way, with dry hands. If you're going to have a little tiny bit of wet on your hand, you'll ruin your filter and you'll get light patches and they'll show up on your prints. Always try and keep your filters as clean as possible. Get in there, you little bugger. The bleeder won't go in. There he goes, right. And the last thing to do is just do a quick focus check. Okay, it's in focus. Get some paper out. And you'll notice, if you haven't seen me working in the darkroom before, if you're a new subscriber, you notice that I'm not using an easel. I make my own easels using framer's mat board, the sort of stuff that you put inside photo frames, for all the different sizes that I use. And because easels are quite expensive, and I find that I can make my own sizes this way, and I use these little clamps here. These are just angle brackets that I've got electrical tape on, black electrical tape, for no other reason than just to keep them clean and rust free. But these hold the template down so there's no light seeping underneath. Right, okay, now I'm ready to... I've got my dodge tools here, so contrast 0 filters in, so I'm just going to let that burst for 6 seconds first. Right, while the null's up, talking to the video camera, I forgot to close my aperture down to f8. So that is a wasted piece of paper. And that's what happens when you're trying to do 2 things at once, make a video. I'll still stick that in the developer, see how that comes out. Right, okay, 6 seconds. Six seconds burning in the top part of the print, the sky, like I said. Okay, now the contrast 5 filter goes in. Contrast 5 filter in. So I've got 6 seconds and 4 seconds I need to burn, dodge the wood and the rest of the image, the sea and the sand. So let's see how we get on. Okay, last thing to do is just put a border around the edge of my print, and just take the clamps away. And I just use this piece of card, take the filter out, take the negative out, and I just shine white light onto the baseboard, and I'm covering the print with this card and the side of the template that I've made. I've just left a small, about a millimetre gap around the edge, so I'll do that all around the edges. A couple of seconds, 1, 2. It does nothing else other than that's how I like to finish off my final prints. The border would naturally come from the rebate of the film in the negative carrier, and that would show that you hadn't cropped the image whatsoever. But if I like a black border and I have cropped the image, the black border finishes my print off nicely. That's the way I've done it, that's what I like. And that should be done. Let's take the video camera over to the developer. Let's get this out. That's that print. That was 6 seconds contrast 0 at f4. Well, my chosen test prints were at f8, so that'll be interesting to see. I'll fix that and show you. Okay, it's gone straight into the developer. This is Fotospeed PD5. Sorry, Fotospeed PD5 developer. I usually use Ilford Multigrade, but I've decided to just give another developer a go. It's a little bit cheaper and it works very well. This developer at the end of the day, I suppose. And this paper is Kentmere VC Select Lustre paper. VC stands for variable contrast. In other words, multigrade paper. That's coming out okay. Sometimes I'll pull the print early, other times I don't need to. And let all the excess drip off. And into the stop bath. Out the stop bath with our print and into the fix. There it goes. So I'll leave it in the fixer for a few minutes, and then this is all fresh chemicals, all at room temperature. In here it's quite warm. I've got the radiator on. It's about 20 degrees this chemicals temperature, 18 to 20 degrees, which is good enough. Okay, try and get as much fixer off the print as possible. Just letting it drip back into the tray. Because I haven't got fresh running water in here, so I've got a sink full of clean water with some rinse aid in it. So down the bottom here I've got a tray of clean water. It just gets most of that fixer off if there's any on the left. And now into my wash tray. I can turn the lights on now. And there's the print, and it looks nice, just how I wanted it. So I washed this for about 5 minutes. It's not fibre paper, this is just a resin coated, basically a plastic coated paper, and it doesn't require as much washing or as thorough washing as fibre paper does. So I usually just wash my prints for about 5 minutes with the rinse aid, and I've never had any problems with any of my prints going funny colour or anything like that. All the fixers off, all the chemicals are off after 5 minutes. It will help with the hands. Okay, I'll leave that in there now for 5 minutes, give it a couple more rinses, and they'll be ready to dry. So this is the print here. I've just hung it up just to show you on the video. I'm now going to put this into Selenium toner and give it some little bit of Selenium toning, and then wash it again and then get it dry. I'll show you the difference between a Selenium toner and a print that hasn't been Selenium toned, the same print. And this is the one. Let's have a look. And this one here was the mistake where I left the aperture open at f4, nice and dark. And the last part of the process is just putting the print into Selenium toner, and this should preserve the print a lot longer and give it a slight sheen or a slight tone on it. I don't really see a great deal of difference, just a slight tinge of a tone, but it does look nice once I've Selenium toned these prints. I think fibre paper works much better with Selenium toner, as the toner seeps into the fibres of the paper, but with this resin paper it's kind of like a plastic, but it still gives it a little tiny bit of toning on there, and I do believe it also preserves the life of the print. So about 5 minutes in this toner. I could go longer and it will start darkening the blacks, but I don't really want that. So about 5 minutes in this Selenium toner. Wash it again, thoroughly wash it, and then hang it out to dry. And there it is, it's been Selenium toned, it's now dry, and you can see the difference. This was the test print, so this is the Selenium toner. It's given it a kind of, I don't even know what colour that is, it's kind of got a, it's got a tinge to it anyway, maybe a slight pinky, I don't know, it's just weird. There's the difference anyway, you decide for yourselves, maybe I'm colourblind. But that's the final print I've made. And that's it, it was as simple as that. It's a shame I didn't take the video cameras down the beach, but like I said at the start of the video, I wanted to just have a little bit of me time without the video cameras and do some photography. And I came back with a decent negative, and it didn't take me that long to make a print. I've been in here for a few hours, I was doing some tests beforehand, and that's the print that I came out with. I'm really happy with the print that I've done. And you know, all this game, it's a learning curve at the end of the day. The longer you do it, the more stuff that you learn, and the more that you're printing in the darkroom, the more confident, and you know, the more you believe in yourself that you can make decent prints. Don't let anyone tell you that it's no good, your work. Just go out there and do what you can. As long as you're happy, like I am with this, that's all that matters. I'm going to stay in here and make a few more prints. I'm going to be putting this one up on my website. I'll put the link in the description below if anyone's interested in purchasing this. Jump on there and have a look, and I'll send it worldwide. I'm going to make a few more to go on there as well. I often get messages from people saying, do I sell my prints? Well, I've just started to put them on my website, and all the proceeds comes back into my darkroom to help me grow my channel and try out new things for you guys to see. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss the next one.